If you're new here, hi, I'm Yale. I built a six-figure Etsy shop selling digital products. Ever since I shared my journey of making six figures selling digital products on Etsy, here's exactly how I started from zero experience to a full six-figure business. This product made me $200,000 on Amazon. The total of all my income streams has generated six figures in 2024. And this is the story of how that $50 became the start of my six-figure business. Yeah, those were some pretty incredible milestones. But did you know I also spent over $100,000 building this business? And honestly, a lot of that money was completely wasted. Today, I'm going to break down my biggest regrets, the mistakes that cost me tens of thousands of dollars, so you don't have to make them too. Now, before we jump in, let me be clear about something. When I say business, I don't just mean selling digital products on Etsy, which most of you know me for. I'm talking about businesses, plural. Because I have tried a lot. Wedding photography, Amazon FBA, event decorating, selling cakes. Basically, if there's a business model out there, I've probably given it a shot. I'm like the guinea pig of entrepreneurship. And I wish I could tell you that every venture was a glowing success, that it all just worked out, but that would be a lie. The truth is, I made my fair share of mistakes. Big ones, expensive ones even. Mistakes that cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. So today I'm laying them all out for you, not to scare you off from starting, but to save you from making the same costly mistakes I did, because trust me, you don't want to learn these lessons the hard way like I did. When I first started selling digital products on Etsy, I didn't really think much about taxes or bookkeeping. It was doing well, sure, but it still felt like this fun little side hustle. At the time, I was already running my Amazon FBA business under a registered corporation, so I was technically set up, but for some reason, I didn't think to include my Etsy shop under that corporation. Why? I honestly don't know. Maybe I didn't think it would grow into something substantial. Either way, big mistake. Fast forward to tax season the following year, I talked to my accountant and said, oh, by the way, I want to include my Etsy income in my personal taxes. The look they gave me? Pure panic. They were like, why didn't you tell us about this from the beginning? This changes everything. And yeah, it did. I had no proper bookkeeping, no separation of income, and definitely no tax planning in place for the growth that Etsy had that year. Long story short, I got hit with a $10,000 tax bill and it was painful. So if you're just starting out, even if it feels like a small side hustle, please don't ignore bookkeeping and taxes. You don't need to set up a corporation right away, but you do need to stay organized. Maybe open a separate account just for your business income, keep track of your sales and expenses from day one, and if you can, talk to an accountant early, even just for a one-time consult. Because when your business starts to grow, and it will, the last thing you want is to be digging through a mess of receipts and screenshots come tax time. Another big regret is not selling on other platforms sooner. You know, for the longest time, I was only on Etsy, and while it worked really well for me in the beginning, I didn't realize how limiting it was until much later. I got comfortable. But the truth is, you don't really own your Etsy shop. If something goes wrong, if they change the algorithm, or if your shop gets flagged for some random reason, that's it. You're stuck. I didn't technically spend money on this mistake, but I definitely lost money by not expanding sooner. There were months where it could have made double if I had started selling on my own website or even on other marketplaces. I was basically leaving money on the table just because I didn't take the time to diversify earlier. Eventually, I got my own website up, and I can't even explain the sense of control that came with it. I set the rules, I owned the customer journey, and I wasn't dependent on one platform's traffic anymore. So the lesson, as soon as you start seeing consistent progress on your Etsy shop and you can afford it, make it a goal to branch out. Start building something you own, whether it's a website, a digital storefront, or even a presence on other marketplaces. You don't have to do it all at once, but having another channel gives you more control, more stability, and more opportunities to grow your income on your own terms. My next mistake is not investing in email marketing early. When I was just starting out, I kept hearing all these YouTubers talk about building an email list, and I remember thinking, why? But now years later, I finally get it. I have made thousands of sales on Etsy over the years, and guess what? I have zero direct connection to any of those customers. Once the transaction was over, that was it. I missed out on the chance to build a huge email list of people who had already bought from me. Imagine if I had collected even just a fraction of those emails. I could have sent out product launch updates, discount codes, freebies, literally anything, and probably made even more sales from people who already trusted my shop. Instead, I ended up spending thousands of dollars on ads, chasing new customers when I could have just nurtured the ones I already had. So here's what I do differently. Start building an email list from day one. It doesn't need to be complicated or expensive. You can use an email marketing platform like OMNISEND. It's powerful yet intuitive and actually cheaper than most of the others I've tried. We're talking up to 60% less for the same powerful features. It's trusted by over 150,000 businesses, and studies show you can make an average of $68 for every $1 spent using it. Here's how to set it up. First, connect your storefront to OMNISEND. Once that's done, head over to the form section and create a simple sign-up form. You can fully customize the design to match your branding. Here's how I styled mine. Make sure to offer something valuable like a discount code to encourage signups. Next is to set up your email automation, so go to the Automation tab and create a workflow. I'm choosing the Welcome workflow. Make sure these 3 triggers are enabled, then edit your email to match your brand and message. Once you're happy with how everything looks, start the workflow. After that, place the form link on all your social media profiles and your website. Now, whenever someone signs up, they'll automatically receive your welcome email with a discount code. And that's it. Now you have direct access to your customers, which is huge. You're no longer at the mercy of algorithms or platform changes. You have a direct line to the people who already love what you're offering. You've probably seen big brands do this all the time. Those pop-ups offering a discount in exchange for your email. They're not doing it just for fun. They do it because it works. In fact, data shows that 1 in 3 people who click on an automated email actually go on to make a purchase. So no, email marketing isn't dead. It's more powerful than ever. Don't wait until you've lost thousands of potential customers like I did. Start building your email list now. And because I want you to avoid this mistake, you can try OMNISEND for free and get 30% off for the first 3 months with my code YaleYT. I get it. When you're running a business, especially in the beginning, you want to keep costs low. Every dollar counts. But sometimes trying to save money by choosing the cheapest option can end up costing you more in the long run. For example, there was a time when I wanted to try selling Squarespace templates on Etsy. I don't really know how to build one myself, so I figured I'd outsource it. So I went on Fiverr, sorted by lowest price, and picked the cheapest option I could find. The result? A half-baked website that didn't function properly and never even made it to my Etsy shop. I believe I ordered 2 websites and lost around $600 on that and got nothing in return. And here's another one. Even though I absolutely love my accountants, seriously, they're my heroes, they are a bit on the pricey side. So I had this genius idea to save a little bit of money by outsourcing the bookkeeping side of things to a freelancer on Upwork. My plan was to just keep doing my taxes with my accountant and let the freelancer handle the monthly bookkeeping because her rate was cheaper. Sounds smart in theory, right? Well, the bookkeeper didn't do the job properly. My records were a mess. Things didn't line up, and in the end, I had to ask my accountants to redo everything from scratch. So not only did I pay someone to do it wrong, I also had to pay again to have it fixed. Here's the thing. When you're just starting out, it's totally normal to want to save money wherever you can. You're trying to be resourceful, to DIY, to make it work with what you've got. I've been there, I get it. But sometimes choosing the cheapest option doesn't actually save you money. It just delays the cost or doubles it later. So whether it's hiring help, buying tools, or picking software, be careful not to make decisions based on price alone. It's okay to be budget conscious, but don't let the fear of spending lead you to choices that cost more in the long run. Sometimes investing a little more upfront means saving yourself a whole lot of trouble later on. When I first started my Amazon FBA business, I struck gold with a product, pampas grass. I listed it, and within 2 weeks, it sold out. I was over the moon. It felt like I finally cracked the code. But instead of doubling down on that one winning product and scaling it properly, I got excited. Maybe too excited. and immediately started planning my next big move. I figured, if one product worked this well, imagine what 10 could do. So I invested over $30,000 into brand new products, and let me tell you, most of them flopped. They didn't sell nearly as fast, and some just sat there collecting dust. Eventually, I had to cut my losses and walk away from Amazon FBA because, truthfully, I was bleeding money. Another example of this was when I tried to start too many side hustles all at once. This was during the pandemic. My wedding photography business was already doing well at the time, but instead of focusing on scaling it, I ended up spreading myself too thin. I poured money into other ventures like an event decorating business where I invested thousands of dollars in inventory that we never even got to use. At the same time, I also tried to become a lash technician. I paid around $1,500 for a course and bought all the tools and supplies, but I never really followed through with it. Looking back, the mistake wasn't in trying. It was in trying to do too much too soon. I fell hard for what people call the shiny object syndrome, always chasing the next exciting idea instead of focusing on what's already working. I spread myself too thin, and because of that, I didn't give my original success a real chance to grow. So here's the lesson. Just because something is new and exciting doesn't mean it's the right move, especially if it pulls your attention away from what's already working. What I should have done was pour more energy into that one best-selling product on Amazon, maximize its growth, build systems around it, then expand once I have the foundation solid. And this applies to any kind of business, Etsy, content creation, digital products, whatever you're doing. When you try to do too many different things at once, you end up becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none. Give one thing your full focus first, grow it, nurture it, then move on. That's how you build something sustainable, not just exciting for the moment. I've said this in a past video, but it's worth repeating because this mistake cost me thousands of dollars. At one point, I saw a bunch of Etsy sellers using Facebook and Instagram ads to drive traffic to their shops, and I thought, okay, maybe I should try that too. So I did. I ran ads to my Etsy shop, boosted posts, set up campaigns, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't do research on ad strategy. I didn't even know what a good conversion rate should look like. I just did it. And surprise, surprise, the results weren't great. Sure, I got a ton of extra views on my shop, but hardly any conversions. It felt like I was throwing money into a black hole, thousands spent and zero return on investment. Looking back, it's easy to see why it didn't work. I didn't study the thing I was investing in. I just copied what I saw others are doing and hoped for the best. So here's the lesson. Before you jump into something, especially if it involves money, take the time to learn the basics first. I'm not saying you need to be an expert before you try anything, but don't go in blindly either. Understand the fundamentals, know what a successful outcome looks like. Learn enough to make smart decisions because guessing is not a business strategy. So whether it's ads, a new platform, a new product, a new business, whatever it is, give yourself a fighting chance by learning how it actually works. Don't pay the costly fee of doing it wrong when you could have avoided it with just a little bit of prep. And those are just a few of the mistakes I've made along the way, and trust me, there are more where that came from. But here's the thing. Mistakes are a part of the journey. Every experiment, every failure, every misstep taught me something valuable. What I do hope is that by sharing all this, I can help you avoid some of the expensive, stressful lessons I had to learn the hard way. And speaking of mistakes to avoid, don't wait too long to start building your email list. That was a big one for me. If you're selling products or running any kind of business, email marketing is so important. It gives you control over your audience. I highly recommend trying out OMNISEND. You can get started completely free, and if you use my code YaleYT, you'll get 30% off your first 3 months. Just click the link in the description box below to check it out. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!